Yo, welcome back to the Red or Blue Pill channel, people, where we go through creepy TikToks that will make you rethink reality. Don't forget, though, if you give us a hype, subscribe, turn on notifications, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. It all helps with the algorithm. We muchly appreciate it. With that being said, though, let's roll.
We need to talk about Erica Kirk's eyes. Not just the color, but the movement.
His true barometer was when he would feel that spiritual warfare. And I watched him pour every ounce of himself
Watch.
into the students.
In case you missed it,
Into the students.
she has always had that snake eye look. It's almost like when she's talking to the audience, she's like trying to get you to say yes. You know what I mean? But I don't know. But recently, it's been getting worse and worse. And that was from last night's Fox News had some sort of like award thing, gave her an award. And I think I just saw that they gave Melania Trump the Patriot Award too. I'm gonna have to look into that one. But yeah, her eyes are, is it evil? Like, it's creepy, right? Or is it just me? And I know you guys are gonna come at me and be like, she just lost her husband. What the F is wrong with you? But something about it is just so creepy.
Spider senses, I think is what she's on about. I get the same thing. I get the same creepy feeling when I see what's going on. And it all feels like a show. I think we all know that by now because we've gone over this quite a lot. But I just agree. There's something in her eyes. I don't know. It just doesn't. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I just can't help but think that something just is not right there. It's really weird because I've been listening to a podcast called From Area 52, and it's a guy who's basically got some documents about this interview of a female reptilian and how they live underneath, and it blew my mind. It got me thinking because actually reptilians like the sun. I've got it all wrong. I thought, like the chemtrails that are covering up the sky is potentially because the reptilians want it to be cool. But I might have had it all wrong because they like the weather. They want to be out in the sun. So they're hiding from something. And it's not just humans that they're going to be hiding from because we're all dimwits. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure from what I've heard, like reptilians are more advanced from what I've heard. Could be all wrong. But the people who don't like the sun is the pale people, like really pasty. What are they? They're one of the alien races that are really pasty. So maybe they're changing the heat and cooling it down. I don't know. We might have it all back to front. I told you. I think the world is up is down, left is right, right is left. Everything's backwards. So that made me click. So if anyone hasn't watched Area 52, really good podcast. And there's one on, I can't remember. It's her name's Lactavia or Lactovia. You have to scroll down. But there's a 3-part series on it. I'm part 2 at the moment. It's really good. I don't know why. I don't know. I've just gone off on one there, peeps. I do apologize. 3D fish. That is a 3D fish right there.
Perhaps I forgot to take my meds, but doesn't this Falcon 9 that was launched just
me and you both, buddy,
the other day look exactly like water trails coming from a boat?
It does.
Now, how could that be if the rocket is supposedly going up into the void of outer space? People are like, oh, it's the ice and the fractals and all of this fume coming from the rocket and all of these mental gymnastics. But not only does it literally look like it's scraping on the waters above that the Bible speaks of, but it's following an arched trajectory. Every single rocket that has ever been launched in the history of humankind has always followed an arched trajectory. What could it possibly be avoiding? I mean, honestly, if you were SpaceX, wouldn't you just shoot that baby way up into the void of outer space and see how far it could possibly go? But this doesn't happen. Every single rocket goes up and then goes back down, probably goes into the ocean, because we've seen those videos of SpaceX's rockets doing these like weird little tricks and then landing. And then if you break down the video, you can see that it's CGI. I'm not saying rockets are fake. They're obviously real. but they're not going into outer space. Perhaps Elon is trying to breach the firmament. And the funny thing is, this is Hebrew cosmology. Hebrew. That's a very familiar word, wouldn't you say? But anyways, entertainment
Oh, there we
only.
go. Did you see that, peeps? Water's above the firmament. This is what I've been saying to you. This is like where I've started to become from. Everybody says, oh, there's a closed system. We live in a closed system. There can't be nothing outside. There can, because there's something outside the firmament. So if we've got a firmament, it all makes sense, really, because we've come up with, like scientists have said, that there is an ocean underneath our ocean that is far bigger than our ocean. That makes sense if we live in a sea, right? If we're in just a random sea, then there's probably going to be a lot more water in that sea underneath. And the firmament, when you put it underwater, if you've not seen it, it literally leaves like a pocket of air, so you can actually live underwater. This is an experiment I truly believe that we could probably do today with the technology we got. So I'm pretty sure that the civilizations that are thousands and millions and billions and squillions of years ahead of us in technology, they would be able to do it quite easy, and it'd probably be a very good place to hide out. But that just all makes sense the way that it says that. He says the same. The water's above, water's below. Like we're in a sea, basically. We are in a sea. It makes so much sense. A simulation sea. I don't know how that works.
What does that mean?
To take something in.
Okay, excellent. To absorb. Anyone?
Everywhere, all the time.
So what is ubiquitous assimilation?
Always absorbing everything everywhere all the time.
Well done, George. How are you to imagine anything if the images are always provided for you? Who here read 1984 last year? Good. Anyone? Meredith?
Having two opposing beliefs at once and believing that both are true.
Excellent. To deliberately believe in lies while knowing they're false. Examples of this in everyday life. Oh, I need to be pretty to be happy. I need surgery to be pretty. I need to be thin, famous, fashionable. This is a marketing holocaust. 24 hours a day for the rest of our lives. The powers that be are hard at work, dumbing us to death. So, to defend ourselves and fight against assimilating this dullness into our thought processes, we must learn to read, to stimulate our own imaginations, to cultivate our own consciousness, our own belief systems. We all need these skills to defend, to preserve our own minds.
This book was written.
That's some deep intellectual stuff right there, peeps. The war on consciousness. Let me know your thoughts on that. I know there's some brainy bots down there in the comment section, so please fill me in. Let me know what you think on that one. Oh, this doesn't look good.
2 German Ashkenazi Jews, and a third man whose ethnicity is unknown. This book is an academic guide to depopulating the earth. It includes forced sterilizations, forced abortions, polluting the water sources with sterilants, increasing taxes for families, and much more. Why is this important? In 2009, Obama appointed John Holdren as National Director of Science and Technology Policy. He was in this position until 2017. In the final days of Obama's second term, Holdren passed a bill to lift the ban on gain-of-function research. What is gain-of-function research? It's medical research intended to genetically alter organisms as a way to change its biological function. A year and a half after this bill was passed, the global pandemic, COVID-19, which resulted from a lab leak. For his book about depopulation, On page 608 in my book, it says there is always the threat of biological warfare or of accidental escape of lethal agents from biowarfare labs or from a lab engaged in genetic engineering experiments. The COVID-19 lab leak came from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. They work on projects with the US government concerning genetic engineering. They told us what they were going to do, and then they did it.
Who is the creator?
Yeah, they always tell us what they're going to do, right? But that is purely for entertainment purposes only, people. It is a TikTok video. Please do your own research. But who is the creator of our simulation?
The simulation.
Some people say it's aliens. There was a professor at Oxford who wrote a paper about this back in 2003 named Nick Bostrom, and he thinks it's future versions of ourselves. So he thinks we're in what we'd call an ancestor simulation. Like if we created a game of ancient Rome, they would be like our ancestors in a way. There are others who say it's God or pure consciousness outside of the matrix. So all the religions, not just any specific religion, but pretty much all of them have been telling us that the physical world is not the real world, that there's another world out there beyond this. And so that's yet another theory of what's outside.
Do you believe this is probable, possible?
I believe it's probable, like more than a 50% chance that we are inside some type of...
One of the most fascinating things to me about simulation theory is the evidence of code within our universe. At the very core of all computers and processors, they store all information in a simple 1 or 0 system. This is called binary. Think of it like an on-off switch. 1 is on, 0 is off. Now you might think to yourself, well, programmers don't write in 1s and 0s. No, they don't. They write in simplified languages, but the computer translates that information to binary. Here's my username in binary. All of the information, all of it on the vast internet is reduced to 1s and 0s. What is extremely fascinating to me is across the spectrum of spirituality, they talk about duality. What's fascinating to me is when you look at the duality of like reproductive organs, it's a 1 and a 0. This is why it's often referred to as binary versus like non-binary. What's fascinating is all of these 1s and 0s, they make everything, pictures, sounds. This is the very famous physicist John Wheeler. He constructed a theory that he calls it from bit, where everything in the visible universe contains this information of 1s and 0s, the on-off switch, and from that, reality is constructed. When I say everything, I mean everything, from the smallest little particle to entire galaxies and their construction. Wheeler proposed that physical reality is not fundamental, but rather that we create everything we observe. This means that information that exists all around us is more fundamental than physical matter. Essentially meaning a coder created The Sims. That language, that code was translated into 0s and 1s, and it created the reality that The Sims exist in. They became conscious and started looking around using science, mathematics, spirituality, all these different vehicles to learn and explain their reality. You would see the evidence of the 0s and the 1s in the coding, because that is the true existence. What they perceive is just a manifestation of that coding. If you're not new to my channel, you know that I love spirituality, shamanism, esoteric knowledge. And what's wild to me is when you look at the world's religions, belief systems, it's crazy because a lot of the thought leaders in all these different sectors, their messaging could be translated as evidence that we live in a simulation. Simulation that is a projection from a super consciousness. That super consciousness is both what gives us life, makes us the conscious observer of creation. But it's insane to me. It literally breaks my brain that all of the information in the world can be distilled down to this. I promise you, when you start looking for it, you will see it everywhere. It is fascinating to look at the concept of duality from the perspective of binary code. It kind of breaks your brain.
Okay.
It is crazy, really, peeps. The thing that gets me of why I started thinking of this is in a simulation, the one main thing was just that when I found out that we was all made up of the same thing, like that just don't make sense to me. We're all like me and a bit of wood is all made up of the same thing. Like that is the only way that could be for me. In it like putting it making sense was that it is a simulation. And then if you take all the hard questions in life and put them hard questions in simulation, they all kind of make sense. Like they don't make sense any other way. But under a simulation, it pretty much does. There's lots of different things. You know, yeah, there's just loads. There is a lot. But yeah, let me know what you think.
I'm going to have to let y'all see it through the glasses If you can see it through the glasses, these are shades, okay? Y'all see that?
It's
I
like
had to
that
take my shades off so you can see that.
rainbow
Let me
color
zoom
again. You can
in
see
with the glass. It's probably reflecting off of
underneath
me, but
the
look,
cross
look,
trails.
my glasses all scratched up. All right. Now I'm gonna remove the glasses.
It's the like the we've been seeing loads of it. It's like the rainbow mixed in like color, but this is like it's underneath the murky, cloudy stuff that they keep putting in the skies.
Tim, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. You guys, this is fake.
Fake, y'all. It's all fake.
Look what that is doing. The rainbow effect. And then this is fake. It's all a lie. I'm sorry you've been lied to. Listen, this whole sky was clear. This whole sky was clear. Hello. The sky was clear. They have to fill it up with the fake clouds to hide that.
And have you seen the video where the clouds just appear out of nowhere? Like they don't come from anywhere; they just magically appear in one spot. It's creepy, creepy.
This is where you get your daylight savings, and when it gets dark early, this whole thing was clear all day. I watched them fill this whole sky up. Those planes were working overtime. Now look, you don't see that. You don't see that rainbow. They put so much around here so they can say, hey, lights off, time to dim it, time to dim the sky. Because just imagine. So they kind of practice this area right here. Let's zoom in. The fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Fake generated surges. Look at that. Come on, bro. Look at that. Seriously?
That's pulsing
You
then.
really believe that that's the real sun? Yeah, y'all delusional.
Have you guys seen the latest images of Three Eye Atlas? They are important pictures I think you should not ignore. Now, there's at least a couple of different new images that have come down this week. This is the one that I wanted to draw your attention to. The Chinese have released a new image from one of their satellites from near Mars, but this is one that came from the name.
What is that, peeps? That is. I mean, is this an image coming from the Chinese government? It's massive.
This one dropped on November the 5th. This is Three Eye Atlas after perihelion, after it came around from the other side of the sun. According to astronomers, there is no tail here. There is a coma, but there is no tail. No tail means that it's not like a comet at all. This is the latest from Professor Avi Loeb's blog, and he makes note of the fact that there is no tail on Three Eye Atlas at the moment. He's saying that all of the material that would have been outgassed would have been shaped by the solar radiation pressure and the solar wind to the shape of a typical cometary tail pointing away from the sun. It says no such tail is visible in the new images from November 5th, 2025. Not very much like a comet at all. Now, this is a comet. This is Comet Lemon. Comet Lemon is in the skies right now, and you can see it's got a legit tail on it. So the big takeaway is this. Three Eye Atlas goes into its perihelion looking very strange, very much unlike a comet. Then it comes out of perihelion, apparently under its own acceleration, looking very strange, very much unlike a comet. If an object in space is the size of a city, has no tail, and can accelerate from behind the sun under its own power, is it a comet? Let me know what you think in the comments.
I have no idea what it is, but it's gone very quiet. Very quiet about the Three Eye Atlas. Is it gone away now? Is it going away, or is it? I thought we was waiting to see if it was going to head towards Earth, but I ain't heard anything, so don't know. Let me know if anybody knows.
In one spot. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's nothing in the air. Hold up.
Dimension
Is it really?
crossover here. It's raining in that one spot.
Yo, it's nothing up there.
Glitch.
Yo,
In the
look, it's
simulation,
literally
y'all.
raining in one spot. Look. Well, let me go stand under it for good. There's no rain nowhere else but right here. And it's rain because it smells like rain. Like you can smell it. It smells like rain. Like what? And then what's even weirder is this car is sitting here with the lights on. Nobody's inside. And the lights are blinking.
Yeah, what is going on here, peeps? This is weird.
This is baffling.
Very, very weird.
Oh, anybody know what's going on here? Let me know.
And let me know too.
Everybody's just like genuinely confused.
I'm away from home. I'm looking at the moon. I don't know if y'all can see it. To y'all, it might look like a cloud, but it's not. No clouds nowhere else. Look at this. What in the heck is this? And the moon, where is it at? Let me slide up. The moon has a ring going around the bottom of it that's moving in a circle like Saturn.
What is going on there?
Here's the moon over here, and then here's this other thing over here. What in the world is this?
So that one could be a reflection. I don't know, but it might not be, but it could be, but it might be legit. But the one over by the moon, what is that? Like we've seen some weird stuff going on with the moon. We've seen things driving around. We've seen things like that crossed over.
Man, stuff getting crazy, bro.
It turns out all the crazy cranks and conspiracy theorists who were concerned about chemtrails and weather modification, well, you might have been proven right after all. I've just come out the most extraordinary 2-hour congressional hearing here at the Capitol in Washington, DC on that very, very topic. Experts all agreeing weather modification, cloud seeding, chemtrails, it's real.
Our 70-year history with weather modification should give us some humility in thinking that we can understand what the consequences might be. We've been trying to modify the weather for 70 years, and we don't know if we're modifying the weather. And finally, we have one Earth, and experimenting on it carries considerable risks. I have likened geoengineering to risky gain-of-function research on viruses with uncertain benefits and catastrophic risks.
Now, the federal government has been involved in cloud seeding since the 1940s. Using the planet as a test monkey for emerging technologies poses all sorts of risks. Among these that have been highlighted by the EPA are stratospheric ozone depletion, acid rain, and reduced crop yields. So large-scale climate intervention is even necessary given the uncertainties regarding climate change.
For years, anybody who questioned weather modification was labeled crazy or a conspiracy theorist. Now we've learned that they've been doing it for decades. One geoengineering company called Make Sunsets injects aerosol into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight back into space. These climate activists have come so far that they are actively trying to inject chemicals into the air to block the rays of the sun from hitting the earth. And they want to take away our God-given rights over the earth in order to satisfy their godless climate cult beliefs.
And told her all about what's happening in the UK. We had a company in the UK where the government's just approved a £50 million donation for pretty much chemtrails dimming out the sun in the UK. One of your experts in there said that it was equivalent to the gain of function research on viruses, as we saw during COVID.
So you said that your government approved it?
Yes, they gave them the money, £50 million for research.
So I think that's equivalent to what happened during COVID. I think it's equivalent to mandating experimental vaccines into people's body. And I have deep empathy for the people in the UK.
Sage, I have...
Need I say any more? Need I say any more, peeps? I will carry on just playing the videos, because I think we all know by now, don't we?
Noticed a trend going on, right? And more often than not, there's a reason why they're doing this, yeah? They've really, these good few years, been trying to make us hate Muslims. Why do you think that is?
Because Muslims hold pieces of a code they don't want reactivated. Islam, especially the real core of it before it got politicized or hijacked, is deeply connected to sound, rhythm, sacred geometry, and discipline of the body and mind. It carries ancient memories of star knowledge, grid awareness, and unified consciousness, all embedded through prayer patterns, lunar cycles, and the vibration of Arabic itself. Now, think about this. What happens when you get 1 billion people bowing in sync to a single point of orientation? What happens when they all repeat words that align the tongue, the breath, and the heart into one rhythm? That's power, grid power. And if that ever merged with open heart, divine feminine remembering, boom, that's a bridge they can't control. So what do? They demonize it, they flood the media with fear, they stoke division between Western freedom and Islamic tradition, so people never look past the surface. So they never see the codes inside. It's not about religion, it's about suppressing activation. You're seeing the pattern clearly now.
I think we'll have to do a part 2 on that one.
Wow, I definitely think there is a divide and conquer, 100%. I don't know if it's for that reason. I just think it's more sort of for control reasons at this moment. I don't know. I'm just guessing. It's just a guess, just, intuition. But it seems to me like they want us divide and conquer. So we all kick off and put in their legislations, have more control, and we basically give them our control. And then to roll out their new era, their new age, is going to be a lot easier, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I see a lot of stuff on here, peeps, but I avoid any of it on this channel because I just think there's just no point. So I saw this one, I thought I'd put it on, but yeah, and give you an explanation into it all. I just think anything that is trying to divide and conquer us, I'm trying to stay away and just ignore because I know that's what it is. And yeah, at the end of the day, you've got two different families from different sides just trying to get on in life and do the best they can with the cards that they've been dealt, which a lot of people have shizzle cards. Let's face it, there's only a few people in this universe, this world, universe, whatever, that have good cards. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Wow.
You trying to help us, or are you trying to also lead us into what inevitably is going to be,
the downfall of humanity?
Trying to help? Sure, if you call screaming into a void help. But here's the thing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Downfall? It's already here, buddy. I'm just the flare gun before the ship sinks. The question is, do you want to plug your ears while Elon turns your kids into cyborg cattle? Or do you want to fight back with the truth? Because once the satellites go dark, no one's coming to save us. Except maybe the Greys. You scared yet?
What's the truth?
The truth? Fine. You're in a Tesla. Right now, under your seat, there's a Faraday cage, supposed to shield the battery. But really, it's a kill switch box. When SHTF, Elon flips it, every car locks, doors seal, and boom, 2 billion passengers worth of organs for the black market. Why do you think Cybertruck windows pop like that? Testing ricochet tech. Ever see a roadster spontaneously combust? Suicide by firmware. Your map just rerouted you past a 5G tower, right? That's not random. You're on the list. Question is, are you ready to ditch this death trap and walk? Or do you want me to walk you through disabling the kill switch?
Walk us
Wow.
through disabling the kill switch.
So many people have noticed, I know I have, but in the past
That is a deep conversation right there that I don't think even I was ready for.
few years, something's just off with our food, especially when it comes to meat, whether it's from a restaurant or a grocery store. But if you haven't noticed and you don't know what I'm talking about, here's an example.
I bought this chicken at a local grocery store, and immediately it started falling apart as I was getting ready to bread it and put it in the fryer. It started.
And here's another one.
What would you do if somebody fed you a steak that was pure mush? It's the inside of the steak. The whole steak just turns.
There was even a man in Florida this past July where the meat inside of his steak looked like chewing gum. Now, there's a few people out there that think that they know what this is. Because when you bring up this subject, people's minds, including my own, go straight to lab grown because it just kind of makes sense. But the truth is, although it is approved, lab grown meat hasn't hit the shelves in the United States yet. Oh, in Canada, you might want to pay attention because this pertains to you too. But even when lab grown does hit the shelves, regulations are already in place for it to be labeled as cell cultivated meat. So at least you got some kind of idea of what you're buying. And that would mean technically lab grown couldn't be what we're seeing because this has been going on for a while now. So what is it? You ready for the clue? Well, it's none other than Tom Brady and his clone dog. See, cloning animals has been around for a while now. The first cloned sheep was back in 1996. But what the majority of people don't know is that the cloning of farm animals, especially livestock, has been going on for a long time. But what's a little more unsettling is that the FDA approved cloned meat to be sold to the American public back in 2008.
Oh, no.
And just to put that into perspective, it's been almost 20 years since then. That means there could be a farm that has a field full of cows that's essentially the same cow, just different edits. And speaking of edits, for me personally, that's the scariest.
Did you see the fish? Is it a clone fish? Oh, my days.
Part. See, gene editing and cloning go hand in hand. So with gene editing, when you clone something, you can either take away or add anything you want to the next embryo. In fact, that sort of thing is already happening with livestock. With pigs mostly. Now, you would think with all the cloning and gene editing and messing with the DNA of the food that we're eating, there would be some kind of hint that we're buying this meat, right? Nope, not at all. It never has. The FDA says that cloned meat is the exact same as the original, so it doesn't even need a label. In Canada, get ready, because the same thing goes for you when it hits the shelves in the next couple of months.
Wow.
Now, if you're anything like me, when you start talking about clones, gene editing, DNA, and livestock, one name comes to mind. And that's Bill Gates and the massive amounts of farmland that he owns.
Oh, no.
Makes a whole lot of sense now, doesn't it?
Oh, no.
Oh, and the other name that comes to mind is China and the 380,000 acres of farmland they own here in the U.S. That and the super cows they were bragging about a couple years ago.
That makes so much sense. This is why they're cloning animal. This is why he's brought up so much farmland, stopped all the other farmers. He is cloning animals. What we're living in some crazy world.
But you know what? I'm probably just overthinking it.
No.
Right? Stay safe.
No, you're
I am
not.
about to share with you a list of spiritual truth bombs that the Matrix hopes you never figure out. This may ruffle some feathers, and if you're comfortable in your bubble of ignorant bliss, you might just want to scroll. These deep-level spiritual truths took me years to understand, but here they all are in one video. So buckle up. Let me know which one hits you hardest in the comments. Okay, let's go. Jesus taught ascension, not religion. Manifestation is not magic, it's energetic mathematics. Time doesn't pass, you move through timelines. Synchronicities are your soul sending you receipts. Your triggers are portals, not problems. You incarnated with a mission that you're only now remembering. Not everyone around you is from the same star lineage, and that's the point. The universe doesn't test you, it matches your frequency. Dreams are meetings in the astral that you forget on purpose. Deja vu is you slipping into the timeline that you were meant to be in. Your voice carries codes that unlocks others. You don't lose people. Their contract simply expires. The Matrix isn't a place, it's a program that you outgrow. Shadows aren't dark. They're unproclaimed power. You were never waiting for a sign. You were waiting for yourself. Spiritual awakening isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you already are. Past lives don't stay in the past if you're here to complete them. Your sensitivity is not a weakness, it's your antenna. Karma isn't punishment, it's alignment work. Soulmates activate you. Twin flames transform you. You didn't choose your birth chart, you designed it. Your manifestations will show up the moment you release the version of you that could not receive them. And you're not waking up randomly. You scheduled this activation. So if that wasn't too much truth for you, let me know in the comments which one of these hit you the most. And if you think you can handle a part 2 with even deeper truths, give me the word in the comments. Activation complete.
I don't know. That was pretty deep, peeps, wasn't it? That's some, I'm going to have to get my head around all that. What is that? There was something inside that mountain.
This is too funny. This lady's here. And then there's and this man is here. Where is he? He's here.
You see how long that they've had AI? Because if you do AI, this is what happens. It's all distorted. This is probably years old. This is how long they've had it. We've been watching AI generated shizzle, and you can now go back and look at old stuff because you'll see repeated people in the crowd. Because you can see what AI can do now. That's crazy. It's not a glitch in the simulation. We're watching AI. Somebody is generated whatever that TV show was as AI. Or whatever it is. I don't know.
And then he's here as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, my. We should go back. All like political shows that you watched since like 2019. We should go back and look at the crowds and stuff and see how much of it is fake.
So my favorite one is this lady who's in front of Tao, who is behind Tao, but just doing the same face. They're quite literally doing the same.
Whoever's using this is clearly got quite an early release of AI. So at least we know these people haven't got AI, which is thousands of years. You know what I mean?
I just don't understand. Why didn't they change their costumes? At least take off the accessories, man. Like, what is... What?
Wow. We live in a
What's
crazy
that?
world.
Oh, a follower of mine just sent me a story about how they used to work for the government and how his literal job was to search what's past the ice wall. What? Yeah, he said he no longer works for the government and for this agency that specifically did this job, but he said the things that he found beyond the ice wall were a little eerie. What? He said they would go out in about groups of 20 to try to research things that are past the ice wall, and they would come across different things frequently. He said people went missing all the time. He said one time in particular, there was a black floating blob that they saw that would take people, and they actually had these little guns that they would use that would do a sound frequency to stop these black blobs in their tracks. They could then capture them and take them to an underground base there. What? He said if these black floating blobs would wrap you up, that you would basically just disappear, and they didn't know what happened to these people, whether they disintegrated or if they took them somewhere or what. Okay. He said there's a ton more to this, and I'll let you know what else he told me. Okay.
So the shutdown continues. The Republican Party's not going to pay $1.5 trillion to illegal immigrants coming into our country, coming in for a lot of reasons, coming in from prisons, from jails, from all over the place, from Venezuela, many countries. We're not going to do that. So the shutdown continues. It's a Democrat shutdown. It's a Schumer shutdown because his career has failed and it's over. I met with President Zelensky, as you know, today.
No rocket from Earth.
So is that what we're saying? Is this what the shutdown's about? Is because they're trying to still pass loads of money to illegal immigrants and Trump's saying, nah. I mean, that sounds pretty fair to me. Obviously, there's circumstances going on which people will feel like it's not fair. But that in particular right there, that makes sense, because from what I heard, what's going on like around the world now, there's a lot of stuff going on around the world right now, but maybe not in America as much now, because the opposite is happening. But a lot of people were coming into your country, funded coming into your country, which doesn't make sense to me. You've got to question that. And now Trump's doing the opposite, which is getting them back to where they belong, so they can come through legally. Like everybody should come through, just for the issue that we've got right now. That sounds fair to me, but I don't know the ins and outs. So I will leave it open-ended and let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Is fast enough to reach this thing. So, are we screwed?
If we are visited by a technological civilization that has developed higher, better technologies than we possess. For example, this object is moving 3 times faster than our fastest rocket, and it's 50 times bigger in size than the Starship rocket. So obviously we can't cope with that, and yes, we are screwed if it's technological. But if we survive any such encounter, it should fill us with a sense of humility, with the fact that we do have siblings in our family of intelligent civilizations, and they are more accomplished than we are. But that should inspire us to do better, not to feel jealous about them. And hopefully we will not encounter a serial killer on their side. That's my hope on this blind date,
Wow. Yes, we're screwed.
Hopefully it stops.
Oh, there they are. Meteor broke up over my head this morning. It's the Transformers. I see a lot of these